Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 19, and welcome back to Geiselsberg with Seasons. Right, where to begin? Every episode, where to begin, right. It's late autumn. We went from early summer, last episode, to late autumn. And let me tell you why. Well, I got a lot of things to tell you. Bring you up to speed, and then we got some problems to solve here on the farm. Me, you, and whoever. We got to sort this mess out. So here's what's going on. Up here, our grass, right, all around our sheep farm. If we look at what is ready, right, what you see that is the lighter color orange, almost yellow, that's the grass that we cut for first cut. It was the only grass that was fully mature and available to be harvested. And then everything you see that is darker is the grass that we planted slightly later in the spring, and it did not become mature until after we had already harvested this other grass. Off camera, I went in and fertilized the grass that we cut, first cut, and then I waited. And the reason I waited is, let me go back, I thought it was possible that if we cut the grass that we planted later, it would be ready for second cut. I don't think it can be, because you look at the grass that we cut first cut, obviously, and it never caught up. It's in its first growth stage right now. We can harvest it, but we won't get as much as we would if it were in second growth stage. So it's my understanding now that if we cut all of our grass as soon as we can in the summer, it will not be able to mature to second growth stage again that season, not with this geo model in place. And that's okay. So what that means is, instead of first cut and second cut, we'll more or less get first cut and then like half of second cut. We'll get 1.5 cuts. However, everything has been triple fertilized and everything can be harvested. Here's the problem. Let me show you the money. Our farm is costing us about 3,300, 3,400 euro per day in, I guess that would be property tax, right? And on a 36-day season, a 36-day year rather, 36-day year, 4 seasons of 9 days each, that's 100,000 euro a year, approximately, that our farm is costing us. I had to take out a loan of 15,000 euro just to make it through the summer, because we have nothing to sell. Now we do have, and I'm going to keep a calculator handy for this, we do have 85 bales of silage that we got from first cut. And silage right now is selling for 66 euro per ton. So that puts us at 264 euro per bale, and I have, let's say, 85. So 22,400 for first cut, and we spent 12,000 on leased equipment. Right? You begin to see the problem. So as I'm looking back at these fields, if we got 85 bales, let me go here because it makes it a little bit easier. If we got 85 bales from our first cut, which was only single fertilized, so it was 130% yield. Now it's got 2 more layers of fert on it, which should take it to 190 approximately. So 190% is plus 50% more than 130% approximately. So we should get 120 bales, and I estimate that this other area is about twice as big, and it's second growth stage, so I'm estimating another 250 bales, right? So that's 370 plus the 80 that we have. So that's 450 bales total this year. So 450, and we'll sell it in bunches so we don't drop the price too far. But that's 120,000 euro we'll make for silage. It costs 100,000 euro a year just to keep the lights turned on the farm. So that leaves us well, it's not even a profit. That leaves us 18,000 euro left over, and it's going to cost us 12,000 today to harvest, which means our profit for silage for the year, unless I'm getting it wrong, is going to be several thousand euro total. This is hard economy pricing. Now, our sheep are doing great, and I believe they make wool in early winter, and I'm really curious. We have 4 pallets now at, where's wool? 4 pallets now at, there's wool. 500 euro a pallet. So we have 2,000 euro in wool in the barn. Who knows how many other pallets we're going to get. So we need to make some some big decisions. And the first one is this. Early days, let me turn the grass off because it makes everything so hard to see. There we are. Early days, when I was looking for our crops that we had in the silo, I bought these two properties here because I wasn't comfortable with the idea of moving crops in and out of somebody else's silo. Well, we're not going to be moving crops in and out of anything. So we can sell those. That gives us some money. It also allows us to clear our loan. So we have no loan and we have 125,000 euro. Right. This is what we're going to do. We are going to once again lease a big tractor. It doesn't really matter. We just need something with about 300 horsepower for our mowers. So let's lease this little Steyr right here. We could do the Agri Bumper. I like it. It's fancy. There we go. And wheels, I think, are fine just the way they are. Slightly bigger engine. And we're going to lease this for 13 grand. Oh, here we go. This is how it starts. And then we're going to put a mower on this. Front and rear mower, I guess is a better way to say it. So we will lease this for 1,000. And we will lease our, is it the Crossflow? Yeah, I believe this is the Crossflow mower that has the swath dropping. Right. Leased and leased. So now we go here. Let's hop in our Steyr, hook these mowers up, and send them back to the farm. Hop right in here. I need to do a couple of things with vehicle add-on, and I like to do this just ahead of time because this seems to do some odd things with the XML. There's some almost legacy items that I notice where I feel like if you don't get the XML edited properly or written to properly with the vehicle control add-on, if you don't do that properly first, it can be a little wonky later. Looks like we need to move our MB track. Not a big deal. So making money with the farm, that is our first challenge, our most immediate challenge. And then we have a second challenge as well. And I'll get into that as we begin our farm day here. I'll just take this all the way back because we're going to be leasing other equipment today. Right, so do that there, put it back in gear, turn the lights off. So the second problem that we have is seasons. Now, I love seasons. I really, really do. And I honestly don't like playing without it. I got really spoiled on it in 17, and I really don't like playing without it. I was relieved when it came to 19, but when I was playing in 17, for the most part, I was not recording. I wasn't a YouTuber. I was just a sim farmer, and I love seasons for that. A lot of YouTubers will not use seasons for their videos, and I totally understand why now. No. Here we go, and we're going store to North Sheep right there, and right there. There you go. I totally understand why now. And the reason why is there are so many things that I need to do off camera to try to get the farm to a point where we can make a fun video. And that sounds like a weird thing to say, but I guess what I'm getting at is when you're not using seasons, you can more or less do whatever you want. If you want to, there we go. If you want to fertilize, you can fertilize, and you only need to bring things forward a little bit to begin seeding. Or if you want to seed, right? Or if you want to whatever, if you want to harvest, if you've just planted and you want to harvest, it doesn't take a lot to bring things forward. You can accelerate crop growth and do a lot of things. And you can also use the animal helper. I'm not entirely comfortable using the animal helper with seasons because seasons does so many things with animals. I don't want to mess anything up. So it's all manual right now. So for me to get here to speed through almost 18 days, it took a long session of more or less just sitting here. Store to North Sheep right there. Drive course. There we go. More or less just sitting here with the time accelerated, and then feed some animals, slow the time down, feed the animals, and then speed time up again. And despite all that, I still worry. I'm still concerned that these are not going to be, I'm not going to be able to get the map to an interesting enough place for this to be fun. And I definitely want it to be fun. I want it to be something that you enjoy watching, and I want it to be something that I enjoy recording as well. So we'll put some Nokian tires on here. We do want the stripping edge. We do want auto load. I know. We want round bales big. We do want underrun protection. We don't need these things, but it's just, I just prefer it. And we're going to lease, actually going to lease 2 of these. And now the question is, can I back up a dolly trailer to hook one to the other? I believe that we can chain these together, because we're going to, where are we at? 11 minutes. We're going to try to do one headland of that entire grass area and see how that works out and see how many bales we get. But back to the other topic. I want these to be good videos for you, obviously, but I also want to have fun farming. I really enjoy farming, and I enjoy farming with seasons. It's tricky how to make it all work. So I don't want to get into a loop where I spend 10 or 12 or 14 hours off camera moving the map forward so we can record a 30-minute video. And then at times, I guess we would almost, or I would almost take the farm forward an entire year off camera so that we could get to the next cool, fun thing that we wanted to do. You know, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be super awesome for both of us. I want you to enjoy it, obviously, but I want to enjoy it as well. And the session that I had to do to get things brought forward, dolly trailers, yo. The things that I had to do to get the game brought forward so we could record this episode, that sort of wasn't fun. It really wasn't. It was kind of a grind. And I don't want farming to be a grind. I want it to be fun. Now, I know the Realismus team has said some of these things they did deliberately. So the fact that you can't assign a worker to take care of your animals, I guess people did ask for that. And also that you can't speed through entire days, right? You can only go right about here. That you can only sleep through the night as you can in base game, but you can't just essentially say, you know, I want to take it to the first day of autumn or whatever. That it has to kind of go in those steps. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world, but that's deliberate. Now, let's back this up just a little bit and see if we have, I know there's a hitch on the back, and I have to think you can chain these together, but let's confirm. Oh, dolly trailer. And you can. Fantastic. Right. So let's head to the farm. Get these on, and I suppose we'll turn these on. That seems appropriate for a rig of this magnitude. Right down here, drive through the bushes. Right through here. So at the moment, I do not have an answer for that. Now, I am on 9-day seasons, and you can do 6-day, you can do 3-day. I've heard 6-day seasons with 5x time and leave those both sort of locked in. That is the perfect compromise for using seasons and not having it get kind of tedious. I guess the downside to that, if there is a downside, is that because seasons works in 3s, that if you take that down rather than feeding your animals, I mean, I have to feed the animals every day. And there were still a couple points where it looked like they were going to run out. I'm concerned that if we go to 6-day seasons or 3-day seasons, that we would be in essentially the same position. Rather than feeding the animals once a day and then speeding through the night, I'd be feeding the animals twice a day and then speeding through the night. And there'd really be no net gain. I would still be spending the same amount of time feeding animals because the amount of food that they consume would be increased to allow for the shorter season. I don't know. I don't have an answer. And you know, it's interesting. I don't know if anybody has an answer because it seems that a lot of YouTubers have just sort of given up on the idea of recording farm sim with seasons. So I do believe there is an answer. But at the moment, I have no idea what it is. So if you can think of anything, please do let me know. And in the meantime, we'll soldier on. We'll try to make this work. But it is, I don't want to end up hating farm sim. I had, when FS19 was released, it got pretty rough. I was really not happy with the sim. I had thought that I would stay in FS17 maybe permanently. And I still do think in some ways FS17 was kind of the high water mark for this franchise. But I get frustrated with the sim. I don't ever want to get so frustrated with it that it stops being fun. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to set the brake. We'll leave this running because we're just going to hop out and move some things around. So we're going to take our mower around, and I suppose we can go ahead and drop these mowers now. Drop them as in unfold them. We can unfold these mowers and cut a little way in. Let's start it up first. Mow a little way in as we do to give our baler some room to work. We'll swing wide around our gates here. And yeah, I mean, we can start right from here. Okay. Yep, that works because this is all... Well, what we're looking at directly in front of us is first growth stage, but it is triple fert. So we'll lower, and go right in here, and then as we get to this point, pause for a second, lower these. I'm going to set the brake while I do this because I have to keep taking my finger off the brake trigger. Swath dropping, that's what we want. I'm going to turn those on. We're going to lower them. Brake is off. And let's pull forward. Let's go over just to the edge of this other field. Slowly. Jeez. So much power. Oh, hey, I'll tell you something else as we get going here. I found a bit of a workaround to it wasn't a problem, but it was kind of a conundrum that I had. Right. So we go right about here. Yeah, let's go right here. Let's lift everything. Lift that back up a little bit. Right about there. Put it back in gear. Set the brake. Carefully walk around our mowers to avoid a farm accident. Go right up here. We'll get our baler going. So I know we were mowing and baling last episode. And I hate to do the same thing back to back, but there's really nothing else to do on the farm right now. And that's what I mean when I talk about the problem with seasons. It's not a problem with seasons. It's a problem with making seasons work on YouTube. Seasons itself. Gotta start this engine too. Seasons itself doesn't have any problems. Seasons is great. It's just making it work with YouTube. Right through here. Beautiful. Right, like so. And again, set the brake. We're going to unfold. Current drop mode manual. We want current drop mode automatic. The bale wrapper is on. Brake is off. Pull up here a little bit. Turn the baler on. Lower. And let's pull this up behind our contract Steyr. Yeah, I'm estimating 300 to 350 bales when all is said and done. Oh, yeah, here's one already. Yeah, with this being triple fertilized, I think that's going to be key. And even that, I don't know if it'll be enough. All right, so then we go right up here. All right, get this set. Right about like so. Put that on follow me. All right. See how far that rolls? Let's see how far that rolls. Right about. Oh, game. All right. So go back over here and hop in the MB track. Get this on follow me as well, as we did last episode. And we'll see how it all works out. I'm also curious because, break this off. Because it is early morning, I'm curious if I turn my lights on in the Steyr so I can see what I'm mowing, if all the lights on the tractors behind us aren't going to start blinking uncontrollably. I hope not. Is it still rolling? I believe it is. Still. Oh, game. I love it. Okay. All right. We'll just hope for the best. So let's do this. We need to go here, here, and here. And then we're going to select round bales. Round bales. Work mode is on. And then we go to our back trailer. Round bales. That is on. And then we're going to put this on follow me as well. And we're going to send it out to the left. About 10 feet. I call it 12 feet. And then we're going to move it forward a little bit as well. So it's next to rather than behind. Okay. Everybody's ready. I want to keep an eye on that bale so if it goes into the trees, we can know approximately where. Right. Everybody's lights are on and not blinking. Fantastic. Lower. Lower. Brakes off. Turn that off. There we go. And I'm going to drop my cruise control down significantly. There we go. And is everybody following? Sir? Sir? Hang on. Oh, you know what? Okay. We still have... Oh, God. I never canceled the offset on the little Deutschfahr. I never canceled that from when we were using it. That's what was on our auto-loading trailer last episode. Okay. So we're going to take this off of follow me just for the moment. What's the easiest, fastest way to do this? I think let's just loop around. And I think the MB track will follow us. Don't hit, don't hit that. Okay, not a problem. We're gonna go over here and get this out of the way. Oh, this farm life. Tell you what. That, and like that. Brake is off. Pull up just a little bit. I wanted it to be so smooth. A nice smooth episode. Farm Sim had other things in mind. Right. Set the brake. I see the bale going into the trees. It's fantastic. So we go over here. Right in here, we can lift that and turn it off. Brake is off. Let's go over here. Like so. Baler is back on. There you go. And then right up here. Okay. So now, once again, if we say follow me and we have no offset and we give it a good 25 or so feet. And this, how do we feel about this gap? Yeah, I'm okay with that gap. Okay. where were we? We were right over here. And where are we at on time? 25 minutes. Perfect. We will make a little bit of progress on this headland, and then we'll call it. So drop the front mower, drop the back mower. Brake is off. Cruise control is on. Here we go. Right, and now everything is happening as it should. The only thing I need to remember is if we make it, let me get back on the grass here. We've got one of our mowers out over the pavement. If we make it all the way around this headland, all the way through our middle meadow, and all the way out to our other field, far, far to the west. If we make it all the way that far, I do need to remember to turn off auto load before we drive past our piles of bales, because if it's still on, it will take all those bales that are in those stacks and throw them on the trailer. We can't have that. Right, so we're doing okay so far. And here's the other thing I wanted to tell you. So between these fields, between field 5, field 11, and field 15, when we bought them, there were little rows of bushes and shrubs in the grass verge between the fields. Well, now they're all grass, and I wanted to just mow from one end to the other as though it was a giant field. And we could either drive over those bushes, right, which is not great for immersion, or we could take a plow and use Create Field Tool to get rid of that little verge in there. And I didn't want to do that either, because these are fields that could conceivably be arable again at some point, and I wanted to leave those little verges in there. So what I ended up doing was taking in the terrain tools, taking the landscape painting tool and just painting the grass texture in there, the meadow grass texture, and it essentially deletes those bushes and leaves only grass underneath. So I was able to find a workaround. As far as I know, the original sort of contour for those fields is intact, but we were able to get rid of those little bushes, I think. I mean, I know the bushes are gone, but I think the fields underneath are still intact. So that was, I mean, for me, I think that's a nice compromise, because I didn't want to be, it's immersion breaking for me to drive over those bushes that way. I know you wouldn't do that in real life. You can drive over some little bushes, but you don't want too much wood in your cattle food. That's no good. Can't be pleasant for the little cow's digestion. And while we're sitting here waiting, I'm going to hit my coffee right quick. We lost a little bit of time at the store, and we lost a little bit of time with me explaining to you everything that I want to do this episode. And we lost a little bit of time messing about when I forgot to reset follow me. So we're coming up on 30 minutes right now, but I would like to really make some progress on this headland and see how everything tracks with that chain of trailers and everything else. So we may roll a little bit longer than half an hour today, if that's all right with you. Through here. Yeah, the hard pricing model, I'm happy about it. I want it. I'm not upset or disappointed or anything. That's how I want the pricing to be for the economy. And I really do enjoy seasons. So I hope you understand I'm not upset or complaining or anything at all. This is what I want. It's just a question of, making this work for YouTube, which seems to be a challenge that a lot of sim farmers have come across as far as what works and what makes for a good video. So we'll sort it out. I believe there's an answer. There's an answer to almost everything. It's amazing what kind of problems people can solve when they put their mind to it. Right. Not caught on anything. Fantastic. And I do think this is the most efficient way to do it. It may not be super realistic with auto load, but I think this is a great compromise to be able to go from mowing to actually having the bales on the trailer in one evolution. I think this really works well. Now, again, if I wasn't recording, I probably would not do this. But then I would be on sort of on my own schedule, I guess, is the easiest way to say it. Could do whatever I wanted, rather than, being mindful of the fact that we're trying to create content here, as they say. Right. Still doing okay back there. And I am a little bit out from the edge of the field, I know, but I'm trying to leave room for the MB track. And there's also some little bushes and kind of shrubby things in there. I don't want to be running our tractors through them. All right. Now there is another possibility, because we need to get on top of our financial situation. We can survive at this point. I mean, if we make 100,000, if we make 120,000 annually from silage, that covers the operating expenses for the farm. But we really don't grow as a farm. How are we going to grow? What are we going to grow to? However, there's a possibility that we'll just buy this forest, which is now to our right. It is 399,000 euro, is it not? That's kind of spendy, but there's got to be at least that much in that forest in wood, right? And then on top of that, it's going to open up, let me set the brake here, I'll show you on the map. It's going to open up, right? Oh, probably twice again and then some, as big as field 5, 11, and 15 is. So we'd have access to a lot more grass for silage, plus the money we'd get for the timber, but we would have to take out a loan to do it. And I'm reluctant to take out a loan, but at the same time, I understand that's what loans are for. You know, it takes money to make money. You can grow a business very slowly, never carrying any debt, but debt is sometimes kind of a smart thing to do financially, as long as it's in proportion and you're aware of what you're doing and everything is metered properly, etc. So that's a possibility, is that we just buy this forest. It would give us something to do over the winter, certainly, because it's going to take many, many hours off camera to bring that forest down. However, I would be comfortable at 20,000 euro per load of timber. I would be comfortable renting the equipment that we rented to bring down the other forest. That would certainly make sense. And like I said, it's 400,000 for this forest. We would get at least that, probably twice that much, because we got 200,000 in timber from the other forest, and it's a third the size of this one. So yeah, I think that could be a smart decision. The only thing is we would need to take out the loan to do it, and I don't know where I'm at with that. Or I guess from another angle, I do know where I'm at with that, and I don't like it. I don't want to borrow any money on this map, but we may have to. And not only might we have to, but it could be that it's the smart thing to do anyway. So maybe we'll just grit our teeth and borrow $500,000. I'm glad that I remembered we owned those two properties in town that we were not using really at all for anything whatsoever. It was just money tied up doing nothing. And even buying them in the first place, I bought them because I thought that's where our grain was stored. Didn't realize that our grain was actually stored down at the southern farm. But regardless, it's just a little pet peeve of mine. It feels weird with the way that the farms and the silos are split up in 19. It feels very strange to just go to someone else's property and take crop out of their silo, even though it's a game, even though it's totally made up. It just feels odd to me. So, I mean, we had money when we did it. I think we had about €500,000 when we did it, and we were able to, but the same thing right now, I would get over that odd feeling because we don't have any money to buy those if we wanted to buy them for the same reason, right? Because it just feels weird to go into someone else's barn. They can deal with it. We'll figure it out because we don't have any money to buy those. And there's our wool right there off to the left. I don't know what we're going to get for wool. Unknown at this point. We have 4 pallets. If we got 10 more, at, what was it, 600 a pallet, 500, it's really not very, wool is not, at the moment, not super profitable. Now, we do have that shed, so we can just sit on wool indefinitely and wait for a good price. But I don't know. I mean, we could get 40 pallets of wool. We could get 6. It could be anywhere in between. I'm not sure what to expect. I think I may have cut it a little too close there. I'm hoping our MB track doesn't run into that tree just at that turn, but we'll see in a minute here. I don't know what kind of yield to expect from wool. And I don't know if we're going to make any money from it. I know we've got about 30,000 into sheep, including the cost of the sheep themselves and feeding them, which isn't terribly expensive. I've just been buying hay bales from the store. But I don't even know if we'll break even on sheep this year. And the thing is, when it comes to realism in farming, that's very realistic. You're not necessarily going to become profitable from an investment you made that year. That's not how economics works. That's not how finance works. It might take 10 or 12 or 15 years to pay off an investment. Not always, but it can. But the idea that you can become profitable from an investment within 12 months is not realistic. And I mean, if it was, everybody in the world would simply make that investment. That's the kind of investment people dream about. And in fact, there are a lot of people that if you approached them with an investment and said you can make your money back in 12 months, they'd laugh in your face and tell you to get out of their office. That's ridiculous. That's not possible. You're trying to run a scam on me. I don't feel comfortable with this. So it's, if the economic modeling is intended to be realistic, that sort of thing is realistic. So we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. And we're passing through a field that is in first growth stage. We're passing through into a field that is in second growth stage. So we've been a little bit light on our swath for the past couple hundred yards, but it should pick up again. And it's looking like, we might get, I'm just going to keep rolling until that second trailer is full. This is going to be a long video. But I think we might get 60 bales from the headland. And if that's the case, then I'm confident we can hit that 300 to 400 bale goal for these fields combined. And even then, like I said, 400 at 250 is 100,000 euro, and that's, you know what I mean? That's really not a lot of money. Not a lot of money when it costs 100,000 a year just to keep the lights turned on. That was, I don't think I've ever played this realistically financially, and that was really kind of an eye opener when I did some quick math and realized, like, wow, all this work might be what's required just to not go bankrupt. Which, again, in terms of realism, I suppose that's what real farming is like. It's a lot of work, and you don't necessarily get rich. Some people do. Some farmers do and make a nice living. But some farmers just, they work, they pay themselves, and they make a living, and they never get rich. But to be able to bring that type of realism to a simulator, I think is fantastic. And kudos to the Realismus crew for creating Seasons. It's such an amazing, big, comprehensive mod. It really, really is. And what it does, in a way, is so subtle, and so I wouldn't say that you can't notice it, but it's very discreet. It's gonna hit that tree. Oh, it just clears it, just barely. What it does is so subtle and so discreet. I mean, it obviously it changes the game entirely, but it's not a loud, bombastic kind of mod that jumps out at you. It operates behind the scenes. For me, it just forces me to think a little bit. And I guess the thing about Farm Sim is, for a lot of people, it's sort of a way to not think. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's just a way to, chill and just do your thing and not have to sit down with a calculator and a spreadsheet and try to figure out how to make money. Hey, let's just drive around in diggers. Let's just play with diggers because that's good fun. So Seasons definitely takes that aspect of it away. At least for me it does, but not in a bad way. All right, and now we're getting from here back into this other field, which is going to be first growth stage. So our count is going to slow down. I think we've just about got a full front trailer. Moment. Let me lift these mowers. Make sure that second trailer is auto loading. Hang on, right back here. Right back here. Yeah, I don't think it is. Hang on. Sir. Carefully. Oh, carefully. Right. So we turn this on. Now it says it's on. Off. 1.3 meter round bales. On. Did it just not get close enough? Let's flip around here and see what the problem is. No problem. Just didn't get close enough, I guess. Slipped out of the trigger. Okay. Right there. And we'll need to, how do we want to do this? Let's pull everything up a little bit. Where are we at on time? 41 minutes. I don't want to do an hour-long video. We'll go to the end of this field, and then we'll call it. We got to call it. We can't keep doing this. Right, so we drop those. We drop those. Brake is off. Let's pull up here a little ways, just to make some room. And I did spray for weeds several times. I guess there are specific times when you can spray for weeds, and if you have not sprayed by that point, there's no point spraying at all because they will grow. So I got what I could, but then there were some places where we just didn't get to them in time, and so we've got some weeds, but not, I mean, just a few little patches. Not terrible. Not terrible. How are we going to do this? So we'll go here. Brake is off. I'm going to leave that one. I'm not going to flip around and try to get that one that's on the left. Let's just get this one on the right. There's that one. Then we'll go up here. Follow me. And it could be that for this field, for some reason, is just at a slightly different grade, and it's not landing in the trigger. I don't know. So we'll go up here. Oh, got that one. Okay. And I think a real farmer that I know told me you can have some weeds in your silage. It does something. The cows like it, or it's got a different protein count or more sugar or something. I don't know. The scientific aspect of this stuff is fascinating to me. There's so much science in agriculture. They were also telling me the difference between spraying slurry, dripping it, and injecting it. And I guess it's never really aerosolized, but when you fling slurry, when you fling slurry into the air, because you're trying to get nitrogen into the soil, and nitrogen likes to evaporate, when you fling it, you've got a ton of surface area relative to volume. And so a tremendous amount of the surface area of the slurry is exposed to the air, and therefore the nitrogen can very easily evaporate. So you get like 80% nitrogen loss when you spray slurry versus dripping it or injecting it. This is crazy numbers like that. And so even though it's so much slower, and even though the spread is so much less, right? Like in Farm Sim, I think the spreaders are like 3 meter. For the slurry injectors versus 10 or 15 meters for spray. But in real life, you would get, even though it's such a narrow spread, 3 meters versus 10, you actually end up with more nitrogen in the ground when you do it that way. So just little details like that. Science, man. Yeah, that rear trailer is now missing like a ton of bales. So it's a perfect time to end, and it's 45 minutes, and we're coming up on our pile here, and I don't want to run that trailer past this pile and pick up all these bales. So we're going to call it right there. I'm going to set the brake. I'm going to lift these mowers. And next episode, we're either going to be logging or it's going to be next spring. Haven't decided yet. But let's come over here, and this is going to be our screenshot. If we can make this very steep turn here. And we do. Beautiful. There's your screenshot. There it is. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19. This is Geiselsberg map with seasons. We'll see you next time. Take care now.